To understand God, we start with the question, what is man? This is the second most important question that you and I will ever find an answer to. And if we cannot accept the answer to the second most important question, then the first, who is God, becomes completely irrelevant. As human beings, we attempt to decide friendly answers to the questions that frighten us most. And that's really what God in a nutshell is about. It's about questions, not delivering you up answers. As human beings, we attempt to decide friendly answers to the questions that frighten us most. We develop all of the supporting evidence that is minimally required to get the outcomes that we like best. Basically, we are willing to lie to ourselves. We are willing to embrace whatever story we like best at the expense of the truth. And in the world in which we live, mankind has decided to believe a very dangerous story, that there is no God. This is the prerequisite for the struggles that you see now and the darkness that is assuredly yet to come. Right now, even in the place that you sit to read this page, there are at least two different forms of energy. One you can see and another you cannot. The first is physical energy. Physical energy is the construct of everything destined to fade, to everything called temporal. It is finite and can be measured and calculated by our primitive technologies and limited understandings of physics, biology, and mathematics. That's what science is. The physical world, from the cells in your skin, from the little bitty cells in your skin, to the stars and the heavens above, are all very intricate organizations of building blocks. They are. The further in that we look, the more a single cell looks like a living, breathing factory. Let me keep going. For a program to exist, there must be a programmer. Anybody that uses computers knows that, right? Something simply does not come from nothing. There's no magic wand. What I'm telling you is this. You're living in a very complex material and biological program. It is a program that had a beginning, and indeed, also shall it have an end. And in the hour that end comes, for each and every one of us, there will only be one thing that remains of any importance. That is, does our Creator consider us a faithful servant, son, daughter, and friend? Just a side note on the physical energy thing. We all get textbooks when we were kids, right? About from 3rd to 5th grade, and on up. But these science textbooks would, I would just look at it, and the evolution part was the only part of the entire book that seemed like it just didn't have. Here's an example. You watch the History Channel and they'll show you these wonderful models about how the world, the universe is made, and they'll talk about dark matter. And for their model to work, they need 99.99999% of something called dark matter that they can't find. So what they're basically telling you in every situation is, we don't know how this works, man. But, see, a little bit of fairy dust, so you shake it together. It looks complex to me. I'm not trying to sell you either way, but okay. Here's the next thing. Spiritual energy. What is spiritual energy? Spiritual energy is what you cannot see, touch, taste, hear, feel, or smell. Right? So the five senses. It is not something magical. It is simply the place from which this place, the physical, came from. I like that line. Thus, trying to understand the makeup of spiritual realm, spiritual energy, eternity, or God Himself is like asking us our knowledge of infinity when we really don't understand yesterday. More than that, it's like a man with a 1950s television antenna attempting to receive satellite cable. The channels are out there, lots of them, more crystal clear, precise, amazing, unending, and unimaginable. They are everywhere. In fact, there are layers of them right between your fingers as you reach out into empty space. But it is the limitations of the equipment, the human body, which stands in the way. However, although as mankind we do not know much, there are a few things we do know. Both energies, physical and spiritual, contain momentum, speed, and direction, which may well be the single determining factor in the physical manifestation of future outcomes and past results. This is created solely in the moment of exchange, the now. The point to which we are currently bound to a location in space, physical, and spirit, eternal, in the confines of a limited yet functional biological examination unit, the human body. We are designed with 5 recordable sensing devices through which we are able to experience this small world within a closed universe. But inside of us, inside of these limited, short-term and extremely fragile bodies is something very special. Something very, very special. It is something that nothing else has. Something that other things you can't see are jealous of. In our weakness, we as humans, in our weakness, we possess a power that we cannot even comprehend. There is an ability you were born with that, if enacted with sincere perseverance, is much larger than this place, its rules, and the horrible things we can't see that are trapped here with us. We'll get to that. Your human body is a wondrous piece of biological hardware through which your currently bound soul can connect with the Maker himself. What I am saying is this: you were designed to know God. You were designed to co-author eternity. You were designed to import the power of your Maker, your Creator, your Father into this dark place. But to understand that, you must first understand this: you are not your flesh. You are not your toes, or your ears, or your eyes, or even your brain. All of these are just parts that work for a time and are destined to fail. So, when you talk about the human body, you are really just talking about the current packaging of a life that will last forever. If you are connected to the Father, the Creator, the Source, then indeed, when this life ends, not only will you be exactly who you were, but you will find that you have been upgraded. Yet before I make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, let me assure you, there are significant and very powerful forces working to prevent all of that. Forces you will hear me explain in later letters with names such as the Voice, the local service provider, the dark network, negative energy, ex-angels, the rebellion, and the system of shadows. Believe me when I tell you that there are those who have made grand investments to ensure that when your flesh fails, you will not be going to a good place. Where they wish to take you is somewhere that you will be afraid. You will be very, very afraid. There are reasons why they want to do this to you, but my explanation of their reasons is less important than your understanding of the way out. Okay, so that's part 1 of a 3-part letter. So there should be another couple of links on there that will, somewhere on your screen, that will take you to where you want to go to hear part 2. Sorry to make you get up off your couch or wherever you're sitting on. Also, I am the author of Thieves, One Dirty TV Pastor, and The Man Who Robbed Him. All these pages here talk about run from a TV pastor, leading right now to this day, basically, where I'm sitting here reading this to you. So find a link on your screen. Thank you for reading and listening to God in a Nutshell. Part 2 is coming right up. I'm Trey Smith.